Hey everybody. Well, it's finally time to start laying down the bench top. We got our 4 bundles of 2 1/4 select grade maple flooring from Lumber Liquidators, 80 square feet. And then we got a few pieces of 1.5 by 3/4 maple from Home Depot, and we'll use that for the edging of the countertops since the maple flooring has that tongue and groove on it. And that'll wrap the edge of the plywood. So we'll put that down first using the Craig jig to screw through the underlayment into those pieces, and then we'll build the flooring up against that, gluing everything together. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to break open the bundles and we're going to get a rough layout, so make sure everything fits and there's as little waste as possible. I calculate the bench to be 71 square feet before the chop saw area, and I have 80, and they usually say 10% waste, so I'm cutting it rather close, but I don't want to have much extra when I'm done. So I'm going to lay it out. I'll fit everything in, like a puzzle, and then we'll actually start cutting and gluing the pieces in and get it all secured together. So let's get started. Here I am doing a quick layout of the workbench and the electronics bench, and then a quick mock-up of the herringbone for the corner. Well, I just got back from a trip out. Had to run a few errands. I stopped by my father-in-law's house, used the table saw, and I cut the tongue off of all the boards that are going to go against the outside edge. So that way I can butt them right up against the pieces of wood from Home Depot. That'll be the outside face. And I also I picked up router table from my brother so that I can route off the tongue on the end ones and actually cut a new groove in, and that'll be used in the herringbone in the corner, because currently when you try to put them together, you end up with 2 tongues, tongue to tongue. I don't know if you can see that, and you can see the space. So you have to make a new groove so that way they fit together right in the corners. So cutting that's a little tricky. You either have to do it one by one on a table saw, like standing up and running through the blade, and that get a little dangerous when you're trying to do a 7-foot long strip. Router table is going to be the best way to do it, I think, but I've also got a biscuit cutter. And here this is, and my father-in-law thought this might be a good idea. So when you push the board into this, the blade comes out of it. So the blade on this thing is about 3/16 of an inch. Should be able to do it pretty quick in 2 passes. I might be able to set up a little jig or something for a spacer, and you just jam it in there, cut the tongue off it, and cut a new groove to fit the other tongue in. So I got that. I've got a biscuit bit in the router table, which I'm going to try that too. Still not thick enough, so you have to make 2 cuts. I stopped at the hardware store. They don't have anything. I was really surprised about that. So, not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm going to finish laying it out on the bench, get them roughed out, get them close, and then I'll start worrying about that. So, I think the best way to do it is going to be in the corner here first and work my way out to control the waste. Either that, or I'm going to start down the other end on that piece of the bench, which is a lot simpler but still has that beveled corner. So I'm not sure yet, but we're going to lay it out first and go from there. Here I am marking the corner for the herringbone, and then I move on to laying out the electronics bench. I spent the most time here because I wanted to make sure all the seams were not in the working area of the bench and that they were off to either the very far left or mostly near the herringbone. So from there, I started working on the left side of the workbench, making sure they have equal seams, and then I moved over to the right part of the workbench, which went together pretty quick. After that, I just figured out what I needed to finish the front of the herringbone. Well, we finally got all of the bench top laid out with all the pieces fit like a giant puzzle. Took a lot longer than I expected it to. It's now 9:15, so I've been at this almost 6 hours now. I was not expecting that, but it's perfect in my eyes. I'm very happy with how it is, and I'll give you a quick look at it. So first, here's a look at the electronics bench area, and you can see there's only a couple seams over on the left there, and then the majority of the middle here, where all the work will actually be done, there's no seams except for the lateral ones. Nothing you can do there, obviously. And then start to get the fill-in pieces in the corner here. And then there's the herringbone pattern. So I'll get a little closer on that. So none of the stuff has been trimmed yet. It's just roughed out. And it goes almost all the way back. And then you can see there's 4 boards back there that go all the way to the wall. That's because that electronics bench is 30 inches deep and the rest of it's only 24. So here's the workbench, just a regular bench part. All the way over to where the chop saw is going to be over there. And you can see they overhang, except for that one. I'll have to fill that piece in. I might fix that. I don't know. See if I can find a piece. And then here's the other half of the bench. These are all right up to the edge there because they were so close on the end. And it goes all the way down to there. So that'll get cut off on that angle, just like the rest of it was. And yeah, that's going to end it for tonight. Pick up again tomorrow. Get the we'll pile all these boards back up against the wall in the order that they go down. And then you gotta screw the front face on and then we can start laying them down. See you tomorrow. Alright, it's the beginning of the next day. Today's Sunday. We're gonna get started putting the countertops down. So late last night, after I said we were all done, I found a piece that fit in the bench here that filled up the gap. So that's all set now, and I won't have to go back and fix that afterwards. We're going to get started mounting the front face on the underlayment, getting ready to put the maple boards down. So we'll stack them back up against the wall in the order that they're going to go down, and that'll give us some room to actually work. We got to drill the Craig holes and screw the front boards on. Let's get that started. Alright, so here I am stacking back the boards, and then I set up the Craig jig, do some test holes. Then run around the front of the bench every 6 inches, drilling a Craig hole to secure the front boards. So here I am gluing the electronics bench side on, and then the workbench side, and then the little corner section there. After that, I'm going to start working the corner on the herringbone. This is pretty much the most crucial part, as both halves have to come together. So I get the front half done first, cutting each piece, fitting it into the angle, and I end up with one little piece at the end there that causes me a little bit of trouble. Well, we had to cut this week's work a little short. As I was working on the corner of the bench, I was cutting out the tongues of the boards for this side so I could get them in the herringbone pattern. And I did something stupid, using tools the way they're not meant to be used. Almost lost my thumb. So, we're going to end it here for now. We'll pick up again when I can use my left hand. I managed to pretty much slice off the pad of my thumb using a biscuit cutter to cut the tongue out because I didn't want to go buy the right router bit. So it could have been a lot worse. I didn't sever any tendons or hit the bone or anything, but I messed it up pretty bad. They actually couldn't even stitch it up because there was nothing there to stitch. So, I haven't gotten anything done on the bench. Today's Friday of the next week. So as soon as I'm feeling better and I can actually use my hand again, we'll finish up the bench. So, little reminder, don't use something just because you think it'll work, because you'll probably get hurt. Thanks for watching.